Today's video is an exciting one because this is going to be the start of a new series of episodes in the Twinscape experiments and side-by-side comparisons. I basically started doing this 2-3 years ago. We tested Aquasoil versus dirt, we tested CO2 versus no CO2, a bunch of other things. I took a little bit of a break, but you guys asked me to bring it back, so now we're going to start again. Today we're going to start with another very controversial topic, water changes. So when it comes to water changes, I've always been a firm believer that they are necessary. Even in my studio, I do water changes every week or every 2 weeks. But zero water changes aquariums is a very hot topic, and I was kind of curious about it as well. So a couple months ago, I set up a Dutch style nano, and I did absolutely zero water changes. And the result kind of surprised me. I had a little bit of algae issues in the beginning, but overall, this tank did really well. Actually, right now, I haven't done any water changes, and it's been, I don't know, 3-4 months, maybe 5 months even. Tank's still doing really good, still thriving. So the plan for today is to set up 2 tanks. Just like before, they're going to be identical setups with the same substrate, the same plants, the same hardscape, same filtration as well. And in one tank, we're going to do zero water changes, and in the other tank, we're going to do regular water changes. And then just see what happens. The whole point of this experiment or this side-by-side comparison is just to have some fun. We're not going to take things too seriously, but I'm just curious to see things side by side. Now when I moved to the new studio, I got rid of the old experiment tanks. They were just simple 5-gallon rimless optic white tanks. They were pretty old, pretty scratched up. So I decided for the new season to upgrade to some new tanks. And I landed on the Duma System Aqua 30. This is a really nice, high quality, 30 centimeter optic white all-in-one cube. So it has a filtration compartment in the back. The intake sits here on the left side. And then on the right side, we have the outflow. It actually comes with a USB pump. Has a little standpipe so that you just connect to the outflow here. And basically that's it. There is some filter media here, but it's basically just black sponges. So I'll probably also add some ceramic media, and yeah, let's just set it up. Okay, that's a little USB pump installed. Next up, I want to work on the filtration in the back. Like I said, it only comes with some sponges, so I want to upgrade it a little bit. So I went through my supplies and I found 2 bags of ceramic media, so I have 1 for each tank. So I'm going to give this a quick wash, add it to a media bag, and then we can add it in as well. Okay, let's see if this fits in there. Oh, easy. Plenty enough space. Then each tank is also going to get a little bag of activated carbon. And then in this first compartment here, I'm just going to add a little bit of white filter floss just to help polish the water. So basically we'll have the water coming in here, first through the fine filter floss, then through the black sponges, then the ceramic media, and then the carbon, and then back into the return. Okay, filtration all taken care of. So the next thing we need for this tank is a light. And for that, I actually have the Chihiros A series. It's actually quite an old light. And funny story, this was the first LED light I bought when I started aquascaping. So it's just a really basic, gray metallic LED strip. But these things are actually pretty powerful. Now the reason I chose this actually pretty old light is because the tank is sort of white. I mean, this clear glass, but it has this white, frosty background. So I didn't want to have a black LED light. And there's very little white LED lights on the market. But this one is sort of, silverish. So I think it will look nice in combination with the tank. So basically the only reason I chose this light is purely for aesthetics. Here we go, light installed as well. And I think that does look very nice. I think it's a nice combination like this. One thing I forgot to mention is the tank also comes with a little glass cover for the filtration compartment. And just to be clear, none of the things that you see here are sponsored. Everything is just bought and paid with my own money. So that's the first tank. Let's get the other one set up as well. Here we go. Both tanks next to each other. I think I need a little bit of a bigger work surface, but for now we're going to try to make it work. So both are set up exactly the same way. I'll show you the filtration compartment. See? So this one also has the carbon and the ceramic media, filter floss and everything. And this one you guys already saw. So the only thing missing right now is a little rubber mat underneath the tank. Unfortunately, they don't come with this Dua System 30, so I just bought 2 separately, but we'll add them later. So I think we're all ready to set up these tanks. Of course, it's an experiment, but I still want these tanks to look nice. So we're gonna just make a nice, simple aquascape in here. Let's start with the substrate first. So for the substrate, I want to keep things quite simple. Both tanks are just gonna get the same amount of Aquasoil. I'm using the Aquasoil from Dental Plants. But before I put this in, I want to use the ADA substrate additives on the bottom. I've been using those on all my tanks recently, and they just kind of help to kickstart the aquarium and to avoid any weird issues during the startup phase. So we have Bacter 100, we have Clear Super, and we have Tourmaline BC. And these little jars come with a small measuring spoon, so every tank is just going to get 1 spoon of each additive. Okay, that's the substrate additives done. Equal amounts in both tanks, no cheating here. So now we can go in with the Aquasoil. I'm going to use a jug, so both tanks are just going to get probably like 2 full jugs of Aquasoil. Here we go, 2 liters in one tank, 2 liters in the other tank, and I think that's a good amount. A nice thin layer in the front, a little bit of a slope towards the back as well, so I think that's good. Okay, I also want to make a really simple hardscape in both tanks, so I have 2 pieces of dragon wood or honeycomb wood, and I have 3 pieces of Yamaya stone, so let's see if we can just make a very simple hardscape. Here we go, just a really simple hardscape, 2 pieces of wood, 3 rocks. I didn't really like the first composition that I made with the wood pointing out to both sides, so going for a bit more of a triangle composition. Did the same on the other side, and I think they look quite similar, right? Doesn't really matter, they just have to be set up in the exact same way. Hardscape can be a little bit different as long as it doesn't change up the flow or anything of the aquarium. So I think we're good. I'm gonna just glue everything down with my usual cotton pad and liquid super glue method, and then we can start planting. Okay guys, hardscape is done, it's glued, everything is pretty much secure, so nothing should float anymore. So we can now move on to planting. Now actually for this project I didn't buy any plants, but I did recently set up quite a few new tanks in the gallery here. So I have some plants left over. It's a bit of a random mix. I have some dwarf hairgrass, some anubias, some eriocaulon, some pinnatifida. So it's just a bit of a random mix of plants in here, but it should still look pretty good. I'm just quickly going to prepare them, and then we can start planting. Here we go, plants are all prepared. We have 2 trays, so 1 for each tank. I think I'm just going to do a quick time lapse, so if you want to know which plants I've used, I'll leave a list in the video description. Yeah, both tanks are planted, looking good. Quite happy with the end result already. Next up, I'm going to move the tanks to their new place in the studio, which is going to be on the shelf. And we're going to fill them both up with water, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how this experiment is going to go. Both tanks are up and running, and I think it looks really good. I really like how they stand next to each other. It looks really good on the shelf as well. I'm sure some people are wondering, like, hey, there's very little space between the glass and the shelf. But this is a drawer, and I can actually remove it if I have to do some maintenance, so super easy. So I filled both tanks up with water, and I'm always using RO water in all my tanks, so I had to remineralize. Try to make sure that both tanks are sort of at the same TDS level. After that, I've installed the CO2 system. Also tried to make sure that both tanks get the same amount of CO2. And just to make sure, I've also added the drop checkers. Of course, they're still blue right now, but hopefully they'll be green in a few hours. Then I've also added some floating plants. In this case, I'm using the Salvinia minima. And these will just help kind of diffuse the light a little bit and soak up some excess nutrients. So we're now basically ready to start with our experiment. So one tank is going to get water changes and one tank I'm just going to leave alone. So we have to determine now which one is going to be. I think I'm going to leave this one alone because this one is sort of closest to my water change system. So let's just write it up with pen. WC. And then, yeah. And then this one, no water changes, water changes. So I'm thinking for this one, just frequent water changes. I mean, yeah, today is Thursday. I'm actually going on a little trip on Sunday. So I'll make sure to do one tomorrow, make sure to do one on Saturday, and then I'll come back on Wednesday and just see how the thing goes from there. But just make sure at least 2 water changes per week, preferably, especially in the first month. And then this one, not going to get any water changes. And then I'm thinking how long we should run this experiment for. I'd say at least a month. And then at a month, we can determine if we need to prolong it or not. And basically in this first month, I'm just curious to see differences in plant growth, differences in algae growth. I'm sure the tank that's going to have no water change will, of course, have more nutrients available. So we could get faster plant growth, but we also could get way more algae issues. So yeah, I think those are the 2 main factors. And besides that, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. So let the experiment begin. So that is it, guys. We have officially started the new season of the Twinscape series. Let me know in the comments if you're excited, and also let me know what kind of other experiments you would like to see. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.